Hello, I'm Bridget from bridgetsastrology.com.au and welcome to my week ahead report for the 10th to the 16th of June 2024. All right, so this week we have, just last week, we had the Venus Cazimi where Venus went across the heart of the sun. This week on Saturday, we have the Mercury Cazimi. And Mercury, Venus, and the sun are still tracking together in Gemini. So very much about how we think and feel, and we're having big realizations. Now, along with the Sun Venus, we have the Chiron Hygeia conjunction in a sextile. So there's definitely a lot of healing in the air, but Hygeia is allowing us to look at things differently and put in practices into place so that, the wounds that we are healing don't happen again in our futures. All right, so let me just share my screen and we can get straight into it. All right, so Monday morning, we wake up. I've always set my clocks to 9 a.m. and this is Tassie time, so adjust accordingly. Now we wake up, the moon goes into Leo at 5:30 a.m. So we're already waking up with some feisty feels. Now at 6:30, there is a square to Mars. And at 9 a.m., the moon is opposing Pluto, as you can see right here. So there's already some challenging, feisty aspects on Monday morning. And Sunday afternoon at 2:35, Mars moved into Taurus. Now, this is good because it's actually going to subdue Mars a little bit. He's not as feisty as what he is in Aries, but he could get very frustrated because, a bull does charge. So we wake up and there's going to be some shifts in perspective. Okay, so all last week I was talking about Mars's journey through Aries from the beginning of May. Now he hit the North Node. Where am I going? Chiron, what's hurt me before? Hygeia, what can I do to ensure my mental health and well-being? And it's a very independent and self-driven experience. All right, so as far as our healing and healing our wounds and all of that stuff that we talk about, doing the work. All right, we've been very proactive at this. We're getting it. All right, with everything in Gemini, we understand. Jupiter now in Gemini has also given us the benefit of Jupiter's abundance and knowledge and desire for more information in Gemini information ruled place. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but again, shifts and changes in perspective. All right, so we could get a little bit cranky in the morning, but if we are, like I said, proactive, we can put things into place. We're definitely getting more, we're getting better at pattern recognition in regards to the things that possibly triggered us earlier. And with all this Mars opposition Pluto, trigger is probably a good word for the morning. All right. So there, and if you do start implementing actions to ensure that those old patterns aren't reproduced, there could be a bit of pushback, but such is life. It's your life. You're doing it for your benefit, nobody else. Or maybe you are doing it for the benefit of your family or those people close to you. So put those strategies into place and don't worry about what people say about it. All right, so stand up for yourself and what you believe in. Okay. So, overall, like I was saying at the beginning, we've got the Sun conjunct Mercury, all right, both in Gemini, sextile that Hygeia, Chiron, and Hygeia aspect that I'm been talking about. Mercury is still conjunct Venus, and Mercury is also now squaring Saturn. So these are some hard thoughts and hard processes that we're going through, but it's okay because we are building resilience, all right? With Saturn in Pisces, we've been doing this work for a couple of months now, so it's not something that's new. You recognize what's going on and the importance of, reinforcing those foundations of your own life, all right? Getting rid of those beliefs that were putting you on shaky ground and putting those relevant beliefs into play now, all right? Okay. Now, in the coming days, I believe it's 11 p.m. Tuesday, we also have Mars squaring Pluto. All right. So now, speaking up for yourself and diffusing any potential problems will hopefully not make the volatility of this Mars Pluto, you can diffuse a situation before it starts. As long as, again, we're looking at pattern recognition this week, guys. So follow your heart and then think about it before we're responding. I think I say that a couple of times this week, but such is life. All right, let's move forward to Tuesday. All right, so Tuesday morning, we wake up and the moon is trine that Chiron Hygeia aspect there, or coming up. It's just past the trine to the north node, so we're heading in the right direction. We know what we want, but it is going to be moving up to that Chiron later on in the day. And there's also an in conjunct to Saturn. We're making adjustments, but also a sextile to the sun. So if we do see what's happening, make a relevant adjustment, then we do have the benefit of, the sextile to the sun. There's harmony in what we're looking at. And remember, the sun shines its light on the areas even in our life that need looking at. And, this is a beneficial thing. So do the work, all right? Pay attention, make adjustments, don't allow things not to happen because you think they're going to be hard to do. They're the best things to get your teeth into at this time. All right. Anything else that I wanted to say about that one? Venus sextile Chiron, feel into this, think about it, and then act so that we're not repeating patterns like I am right now. All right, so let's move forward to Wednesday. All right, so now Wednesday, for most of the day, we have the moon in Leo. It doesn't change into Virgo until 3:40 p.m. All right, so we wake up with the Leo moon and it is trine to Mars, all right, and also square to Jupiter, all right? So we might be feeling a little bit skittish. Don't be telling people that you will do things for them. Like in that Leo, I am so proud. I am on top of this. I am on the stage. I'll do that for you. No, think twice, because that might be the things that make you react. All right. You might not get the adoration that you desire, or, we just need to rationalize our day. All right. So go do the things. Just don't promise too much that you're not willing to then. Look, we've got this moon also squaring Uranus later on in the day. We don't want this to be the shocking, uncomfortable experience that happens because you're not true to your word. All right. Anyway. All right. So like I said, the moon moves into Virgo at 3:40. So the afternoon offers us some time to focus on things. Remember, Virgo loves to analyze and, get the data and the details. All right. So the afternoon, it's also healthcare and self-care. So maybe you can chill out in the afternoon and have I don't know, what's your self-care look like? A facial, a bath, a mani-pedi. Obviously, I'm being very female orientated here. Maybe a good workout. Maybe if you're a guy and you need to look after yourself and do some good things for yourself, maybe you can do a workout. Anyway, or a good stretch or yoga, something beautiful. Or you might just need a good declutter. That's a great one for Virgo, especially with Mercury in Gemini. Decluttering helps you, you identify objects that relates to people, or you can just feel freer by loosening the load. You pass stuff on. It's always good to recycle and repurpose. All right, so that was pretty much it. Now, also we have Venus coming up to square Neptune. So there's also the need to ensure that you've got the details right. All right, Venus is in Gemini. She's very social and, chatty and flitty in the mind. But, the square to Neptune, make sure all the details are correct. All right. It could also look like drunken afternoons with friends. But, I'd like to more say that you're looking for clarity and you're double checking details as well. All right. So let's move forward to Thursday. Okay. So Thursday morning, we wake up and the moon is in Virgo. So with the sun also conjunct, it's only 2 degrees away. That's Gemini, information, communication, technology. transport, social situations, siblings, neighborhoods. All right, we could be having any of those experiences, but I think today is a great day to get into the office as well. Sort out some of, maybe you've got some piles of paperwork that need filing. Excuse me. Maybe you just need to empty the inbox. And those sort of processes are a really good thing. Yeah, do your paperwork. Anyway, so another thing that you may find today is conversations around mental health and well-being happening. So we've got the sun, which is exactly sextile Chiron at 4 p.m. All right. So this is a harmonious and positive aspect where maybe we're just thinking into, again, like I've been talking about pattern recognition. Chiron's in Aries, which is quite independent and self-driven. So maybe we're just thinking about those old things and moving past them. Like I said, Hygeia is also there. And she's like, you've got this, you know, we can clean this wound. We can solve this issue. We can find ease in dis-ease. Those type of things, very, very health orientated. So you might have those type of discussions coming up. So, you know, keep practicing whatever it is that you are moving towards, you know. This, like I said, this is doing the work. I think for one of those days, I said that you may hear yourself talking in a different voice, you know, and that is absolutely the proof that the work, the mental work that you're doing is working, because you're not listening to that old, you know, inner critic or negative Nelly or whatever. You're like, okay, I see where that came from, and I know that that's not relevant anymore. I want to move forward in a different way. So hearing yourself talk differently in your mind is, you know, just keep up the practice. You know, again, very, very Mercury ruled. Mercury rules both Virgo and Gemini. So we're in our head, right? Now, Venus is leading the pack. You know, Mercury's still on the other side of the sun. So, you know, we're moving up towards these new ideas. Anyway, that's what I think anyway. All right, so let's move forward to Friday. Okay. Now, so many feelings around today. The moon is very, very, it's got lots of aspects happening. So we've got the square, we've got the moon, square the sun, Mercury, Venus. It is trine Uranus, all right? So things are shifting and changing, both in an earth sign. So, okay, so we could have some very logical shifts, progressions even, maybe. You know, maybe things are just progressing. All right. So, but the moon square the sun, it is the first quarter moon. So, you know, like with that progression, we could just see things starting to happen. And, you know, shifts and changes are always a little bit uncomfortable, even when we ask for them. But also that in conjunct to Chiron later on in the day as well, and in opposition to Saturn. All right. So again, might feel hard, but it is doing the work. And that in conjunct to Chiron, we are making adjustments because we can see what though we've analyzed. We know the data. We can see those benchmarks and triggers. That's the trigger. I can see that. All right. I'm going to adjust accordingly. All right. So like I said, so many feels around today. So you really want to make sure that you think about what you want to say, because once things are said, they cannot be unsaid. All right. And it is quite a critical moon. All right. Virgos are very finicky and fussy and very particular about the words that we're using. So we want, you know, we want the natural healer to come out in us rather than the inner critic. Right? We don't want to be overly critical. We want to think about those healthy aspects of the Virgo moon. All right, so just be you, just be true to you, and just that's the best way to approach this day. Okay, was there anything else there? No, nothing else particular. All right, now let's move forward to Saturday. All right, so this Mercury Sun conjunction is exact at 2:15 a.m. on Saturday morning. Like I said, this is in Australia. So in the US, it's going to be 8 hours previously, the night before, Friday night. Okay, So now, Sun conjunct Mercury in Venus. Again, great communication. We could be having amazing insights. Keep your pens and papers handy. I've said that for the whole thing for while Jupiter's in Gemini. It's just great to journal as well. You know, we could be doing writing to help us you work out these thoughts. Yeah. So anyway, keep your pens and papers handy. All right. So 2:15. Now the moon moves into Libra at 4:12 a.m. All right. So it goes from a Mercury ruled moon to a Venus ruled moon. Now Venus here is at the front. She's leading the pack. Now there is a nice trine to Pluto. There could be some truth and clarity coming up in regards to the bigger picture and how everybody is involved. But we are looking for knowledge and understanding to help us find balance where this transformation is occurring. So there's that beautiful grand trine there. Venus is coming up to that square to Neptune. So make sure that you are clarifying the details. All right, always clarify the details, especially if you feel a little bit unsure of it. So okay, so understandings around why certain connections are the way they are could be definitely getting made today. And yeah, so try to make sure that you are speaking to people in regards to stuff. We don't want miscommunication or lost details to skew the way we're thinking about things. Okay. All right. So because the moon is also coming up to conjunct that south node, where we're like, oh, okay, I don't need that anymore. I'm going to pass that one on and move forward. And move forward I will. So let's go to Sunday. Okay. Now, so the moon at 6 a.m. is conjunct that south node. All right. So we wake up and we're like, oh, okay, all right, I can release that now. Now, there is also an opposition to Chiron growing. Okay. So, you know, that being very aware of the wound of the individual, you know, maybe we gave away our power as an individual. It might be something that we just, again, pattern recognition. Maybe we, you know, in our early lives, we saw our parents doing that, you know, giving away their power to each other, you know, regardless of what sex you are. It is just a play. It is how humans react to each other and, you know, live with each other. So, you know, maybe the thing that we're releasing is the need to give away our power, finding our own balance, because we are able to move on steadily ourselves. All right, so Venus is leading us on Sunday and she rules the moon and Mars. All right, so follow your heart, think about it, and then see what is really happening around you. If there is some confusions, feel into it and see what rings true for you and adjust accordingly. All right, because there is also in the evening another inconjunct forming to Saturn. All right, so you know we are residing in our minds. We are, you know, walking our own paths, navigating our lives, trying to make ourselves better, leveling up, doing all those things to just be better within ourselves and for our families and for the people that we, you know, engage with. And, you know, like, you know, if you have a gift and you're sharing it with the world needs what you have to offer. So I hope this week, let me just stop my share. I hope this week finds you healing anything that stops you, putting into place safeguards to ensure that these things don't happen again. You know, by the end of the week, follow your heart, you know, and then think about it and then act upon it. Because, you know, once words are said, you know, especially for that Leo day where we have that opposition to Pluto, you know, we don't want to come out of a frustrating situation also hurting people when we didn't actually really mean what we said or we didn't have the full story. So yes. So if you would like a reading, then please reach out to me on any of the socials or go to bridgetsastrology.com.au or come over and hang out with me at Lifetime to Level Up at 8:30 Monday to Saturday. Yeah. And I hope you have a great week.